Welcome to the lesson of Microsoft Excel. In this lesson, we're going to learn about the Excel functions you need to know and which are going to be useful in your daily life and even in your job interviews. So the first formula or the function which I'm going to talk about is going to be aggregate function. And why is the aggregate function very important? So the aggregate function, what it does is just ignores whatever you want to ignore instead of like getting errors. Sometime when you are searching for an error, sometime it shows up an error. But if you don't want any of those, so what you're gonna do is type in which is gonna be the function which is equal aggregate. So aggregate function helps you to ignore all of the errors. Now I'm gonna select sum and I'm gonna sum all of these. Double tap it, equal, and now I'm gonna do is ignore nested subtotal and aggregate function. So which is gonna be equal 0, then comma, and then what I'm going to do is select the array. After selecting the array, just type in comma, or what you're going to do is just close the parentheses, hit enter, and you will get the summation. But you can see that there are minuses. Instead, if I do not use minus, or if I don't use aggregate function, you are going to get a minus value or maybe something else like an error. So if you don't want to face any of those, just use the aggregate function and it's going to help you do a lot. Now what I'm going to show you the next one, which is going to be the round function. So if you're going to want a round value, you can use the round function. Now I just need to put in a percentage. Okay, so I'm going to do is 14%. Now I want the value of this one and this one. Let's say I'm going to cut it over here so that you can easily see, and I'm going to delete these ones. Now I want a round value of two digits. Now if I want a round value of 2 digits, what I'm going to do is just type in equal round and then select this. Okay, which is like really easy to do. But first thing what you're gonna do is type in equal to the first letter. Okay, so which is gonna be equal, then the first letter. First I want the first round of 2 digits, so I'm gonna do is type in this one and then the star, okay, which is also the multiplier, then open parentheses and then 1 plus this one. Well, that is gonna be it for how you're gonna find the round digit of 2. Okay, so close the parentheses, hit enter, and that is gonna be the round digit. But what if you want the round of the whole number? Okay, so if you want the round of the whole number, you can also do the same thing just by doing the same things which I did here. But firstly, what you're gonna do is type in a round formula here, round, and then the first thing what you have to do is select this one. After selecting that one, the star, which is also the multiple, and then open parentheses 1 plus, and then the percentage, close the parentheses. After closing the parentheses, you don't have to worry that much, and then what you're gonna do is just put another comma and the number digit, let's say 2 number digit. Now I'm gonna close the parentheses, hit enter, and that is gonna be the double digit number or the double round digit number which you're gonna find in. Okay, that is really easy. But if you don't want 2 number, instead you're gonna want like another one, you can also do the same thing, or you can just lock in the cells to get a different value, or let's say F4 and here F4, then you can lock in the values, so it doesn't matter. And then what you want to do is find the closest 10 numbers. So if you want to find the closest 10 numbers, what you're gonna do is type in close the number and then just type in -1. So I'm gonna do the same thing to find the closest 10 number, just equal -1. Well, that is it for -10 of those. Well, this is very easy. But if you want the closest 100, you're gonna do the same thing, and then just what you're gonna do is just type in -2 for here, which I added 1 here. I'm gonna do is -2, and that is the closest 100 number. So that is very easy. Now I'm gonna do is add in some datas, or let's say 1/1 and then 2023, and then use the same ones for a couple of times and then fill it with the spaces, or let's say now you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now I'm going to do is find the end of the month value by using another function which is called the EO month. Now I'm going to do is type in equal EO month. That is going to be it. And then what I'm going to do is open the parentheses. After opening the parentheses, I'm going to do is select this one, comma, and then the months, which is going to be 0. So I'm going to close in the parentheses and then hit enter, and you can see that this is the general value or the code number, and I'm going to select all of those and then change it to short date, and you can see for 1 month or 0 month you will get the value of it. Okay, So that is 0. If you want 2, you can also send or like add in, let's say 1, and that is going to be for 1 month later, and use the fill header to do the same thing over there. Now I'm going to do is find the end of the next month. To find the end of the next month, that is also very easy. So if you want to find the end of the next month, just type in or do the 1 or do the 2, which is also which I did over here. But if you want to find the end, what you're going to do is type in equal, which is going to be -1, and then you're going to get the -1 or end of the month value. Now you can see that this is 1 month, okay, 1 month previous, and this, which is very easy. So that is it. And now what I'm going to show you is the next one, which is going to be the Edate. To find out the Edate from the selected date, to find out the next ones, which is going to be really easy. So I'm going to do it right over here. So to find out the Edate of that, what you're going to do is, let's say I wanted 12 months, okay, 12 months from the date. Now if it's 12 months from the date, I'm just typing equal, and then what I'm going to do is Edate, and then the starting date, which is going to be this one, and then comma, and then the months, which is going to be 12. Close the parentheses, hit enter. So after 12 months, I'm going to use the fill header and do the same things, okay? And after like 12 months, I'm going to get what type of data. So this is going to be 1/1/2024, 5/2024. Well, that is it. So this is it for those. Use this one, help on this error, my bad. Well, that is it, equal. Well, if you don't go get those, just do the same things with the same values over here, and then use the fill header, and that is how it's going to help you to find out the data, okay, after one year or 1 month after another. So that is very easy how you're going to find out the values of the Edate by using that function. Now the function which I'm going to talk about is the Workday function. So why is the Workday function, which is like really important in the business sector and job sectors? Because it's going to find out the work days of a specific person, or even let's say how many work days are there in a week, or how many weekends are there in a week. So what I'm going to do is type in equal and then type in work days. Now to find it, what I'm going to do is type in equal Workdays International, which I prefer the most. Let's say the starting date, which is going to be this 1/1/2023, because you're going to get a fresh start. Now I'm going to do is type in equal, and the end date, let's say okay, let's, instead of doing that, let's do the like another thing, which is going to be starting date, which is going to be this one, and then comma, and this one, and then comma, which is going to be the weekends. So there are 2 weekends, or maybe you can also select 1 weekend. If you want 1 weekend in a week, you can also select that, which is going to be the off, okay? But most of the time for, like, let's say education, it's most of the time like Friday and Saturday, and maybe even outside there is also like Saturday or just only Monday. So I'm going to select Monday this time. So after it is like Monday, so I'm going to type in comma, and the holidays, which is going to be, let's say there are 4 holidays, and then close the parentheses, hit enter. So there are 2, okay? So if there's 2, you can also do that. But let's say I'm gonna do is from here to here, there's gonna be 2 work days. Now let's do another thing, which is gonna be 30/1/2023. Now what I'm gonna do here is gonna change the values, or let's say I'm gonna do it over here this time, equal Workdays International, and I'm gonna starting date, which is gonna be this one, comma, end date is gonna be this one, comma, and then let's say we have only Sundays, and then comma, and then the holidays is gonna be, let's say 2. Close the parentheses, hit enter. Well, sometimes you're gonna get this, or maybe we need to find out what type of data there is. Let's say 30. Okay, now you get it. Now we're gonna get that the work days are of 25. Now what I'm gonna do is change in some other values too. Let's say there are no vacations. Close it, enter. So there are still 25. Why is it 25? Because in like a month you're getting 25 work days, and 5 days of it are free. So that is how you will be able to find out using the Workday function, or Workday International, which is most used than just workdays, because you're gonna get a better preview, or a better let's say a better ones, okay? And how you're gonna select it, so that is all up to you, okay? Now what I'm going to show you is the next one, which is going to be the 3D formulas. If you want 3D formulas, you have to select from one cell or the one what you're going to do is, let's say you want the data from another sheet, you can select that and then paste it. Well, that is also going to depend up to you how you're going to use it, so I'm just going to skip it and then go to the next function, which is going to be the sum if, average if, and count if. Well, these are like really important, and these are like really used. So let's say I'm gonna do is, let's say count if. So I'm gonna do is equal. Let's start with the first one, which is gonna be the sum if or the count if, whichever one you want. So let's do a sum if first. Sum if, and then the range, let's say select a range. Let's say I'm gonna select this range only, comma, and then what you're gonna do is select the criteria. Now if you want to select the criteria, I'm gonna do is select 2. Close the parentheses, hit enter, and you're gonna get 0. Why you get 0? Because there is no other ones. Okay, so I'm gonna do is and the sum range and the comma, and if you want to select the sum range, that is also up to you. So if you can select whichever one you want, that is also gonna depend on you. Okay, comma, and the sum range is gonna be, let's say, this one. Close the parentheses, hit enter, and that's still gonna be 0. Why is it 0? Because we didn't lock in the cells and then we didn't get any of those. Now if you want services, or let's say if you have like a names of it, then you might able to get the value. Okay, but if you don't have it, you're not gonna find any of those. Let's say instead of this cash flow, I'm gonna add in some datas. Okay, I'm gonna delete all of these. Now instead of cash flow, I'm gonna type in names. Let's say Tony Stark, Hulk, Banner, Widow. Okay, let's stay on these. Okay, and I'm gonna do the sum if equal sum if, and the range. What I'm gonna do is select the range, comma, criteria should be Stark, and then comma again, and then the sum range. How are you going to select the sum range? So the sum range is going to be something else. Let's say this one. Close the parentheses, hit enter, and you're going to still get 0 because there is 0 for Tony Stark or whatever it is. Okay, so according to that, you're going to find out the sum if of how you can find out those. Okay, so if you don't need any of those, just like ignore it. But next, what I'm going to show you is going to be the count if. So if you're going to find out the count if equal count if, then the range, just select the range. Okay, instead of that, let's select this one, comma, and then select for Tony. Close the parentheses, hit enter, you're gonna get 0, but most of the time of other ones, let's say it's gonna be general. Okay, so for general, we're gonna do that too. So instead of doing this, I'm gonna like not like unfilter any of them. Now I'm gonna do is the same thing, which is gonna be equal, and you're gonna get a different one. So as I've typed in, you can see, or typed in enter, you're gonna see the value by using count if or sum if. Now the next function, what I'm going to show you is going to be another one, which is going to be the Excel if function. So if function also is quite important when you're doing a lot of data. Okay, next what I'm going to show you is this one. So instead of keeping it like this, let's keep it on general so you can get a better value or better, easier answer. So I'm going to type in equal if, and then the logical test. So what is the logical test? So the logical test is going to be the, let's say, the amount. Now the amount, which is going to be here, let's say if it is like greater than or less than. Okay, so I'm going to do is, let's say, greater than. Okay, greater than 20. If it is, then what you're going to do is comma, net value if true. So if you want to add in the value if true or value if false, you can also do that, and as you can visually see. Now if your value is true, let's say check. Okay, and if it's false, let's say something else. Okay, so I'm gonna do is, if the value is true, it's gonna say yes. If the value is true, close the parentheses or maybe comma, and then do that and say no if the value is false. Okay, then what I'm gonna do is close the parentheses, hit enter. So as the value is true, you got the data, and you can also use the fill header by using something else. Okay, let's say 1. So yes, yet the value is true. Use the fill header and you can see that the other ones will also be the same, and according to your result you're gonna get all of them. Now what I'm gonna show you is another one, or the last one, which is the most common, which is gonna be the view lookup, which is also the vertical lookup, which is gonna be equal view lookup, and the lookup value, let's say the lookup value is Tony Stark, comma, and then table array, let's select all of these, comma, the column index number, whichever one you want according to the column, let's say 2, and then comma, and then exact match, close the parentheses, hit enter, and you're gonna get this number. Well, you can find out a lot of data with all of those. Well, these are some of the Excel formulas or function, and which are also job related and job interview. So hope you guys understood everything, and thank you for watching this video.